just like that, Sex and the City is back on our screens. Welcome back to Live with Roxy on this Thursday, December 9th. I know my typical audience might not be Sex and the City fans, as I usually sit here and talk about things like Superman and Spider Man, or Star Wars, or Harry Potter, despite me never remembering who ends up with who at the end of that movie. And I am nerdy, and I am proud of that. But at my core, in my soul, I am a Sex and the City loving person. I love that show. I love it so much. I loved Sex and the City even when it wasn't good. I loved Sex and the City even when the first season was direct to cameras and people would break the fourth wall and it was really awkward and weird. I loved Sex and the City when Carrie decided it was Aiden. I loved it when she decided it was Big. I loved Sex and the City, the movie. I loved Sex and the City 2. I love Sex and the City. And now we have And Just Like That, which is the new Sex and the City show that the first 2 episodes dropped on HBO Max last night. And I have seen the premiere, and I am 10 minutes into the second episode, but I decided I needed to go live and talk to you guys. This kind of caught me off guard. I knew, of course, the show was coming, and we had talked on this show about all of the drama with Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker and her not returning for the series. But for some reason, I did not remember this show was dropping last night. And then I woke up this morning and my Twitter was flooded. And all of a sudden, I thought to myself, if I do not watch this immediately, I am going to get the shit spoiled for me. But I didn't have enough time before my first meetings to watch both episodes, and then I had to go live here. So I'm only 1.25 episodes deep, but I did watch the premiere. If you don't care about Sex and the City, fine, maybe you'll learn something because I took some life lessons from this. If you do care about Sex and the City, then this is the show for you right now, if you're like me. So, And Just Like That dropped, and I am blown away by the premiere. There are some things that I didn't love as much, but in general, they did a phenomenal job with the episode. And oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I won't get into any spoilers yet. I'll keep it spoiler free until I go into spoilers because I don't want anybody who's watching this right now to get it spoiled for them if they haven't seen it yet. But I will get into spoilers and I'll keep you guys posted on that. In the meantime, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, super chat in. Are you a Carrie? Are you a Samantha? Are you, I guess it doesn't matter as much if you're a Samantha because she's not in the show. That's sad. Are you a Charlotte? Are you a Miranda? I need to know. This episode answered a lot of big questions, including what happened with Samantha. As we know, she's not in the show. And so they very quickly addressed that, which I won't get into now because, again, spoilers. But it did it made a choice and it stuck with that choice. So it addresses that very fast. It also talks about it addresses the lack of diversity that's ever been in Sex and the City. They really, really try to not have this be a cis white only show. And so that was interesting and cool and necessary. Obviously, it's 2021, get with the times, as they definitely tried to. Sometimes it fit more naturally than others, but definitely they try to. Let me know how my internet's doing, by the way. I can connect to my Ethernet. The little internet symbol just popped up, so let me know how we're doing. And William Dean says, I'm a Rob. Totally. You don't have to be one of the 4, but those are the main questions, right? So let me know. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Ask your questions, comments, concerns, anything going on with you guys. Yes. And Brandy says, I'm so glad to have you to geek out with over this, Rox. No shit, girl. I'm with you. Also, Brandy, amazing new photo that you placed. Love to see it. I cannot believe that what a matchmaker I am. I set up my best friend and her husband years ago, and they just had their first baby and are doing well. And I feel like there's some rock stars, world friends, love connections that have come through. That makes me feel very Carrie Bradshaw esque. Not because she was a matchmaker, but just because, I don't know, it feels like very much her to, this is my version of her blog, essentially, I guess. Let's go into what it is you guys are talking about, and then I will get back to some Sex in the City stuff. Today is December 9th, and coming in the first Streamlabs of the day from none other than the Zen one himself. And it's crazy to call him the Zen one after we did our meditation session last night. I'll talk about that in a little bit too. Glenn Caesar says hello and a good day to you, Roxy. Sending well wishes, and I thank you for hanging out today. How are you? I'm doing okay, thank you. Peace, bunnies, hugs, and good stuff to you, your dad, Jet, Sky, Grammy, Popo, and your family. Be most excellent to yourselves and each other, RJ and Rockstars. How are you, Roxy? Oh, you asked me twice today. Doing okay. Checking in again. Hopefully you're doing good and feeling good and or working on something that feels good. Thanks. I have a big World Girls meeting later on. So that's good. And then I'm going to meet up with my friend Lauren, who you guys know, she's a friend of the show. She's been on many times and we just haven't seen each other in like 2 months. And so I'm really excited to see her and just catch up with her. I think she's doing very well. I hear she's got herself a new boo. And so, yeah, just excited to catch up with her. Roxy the best, Roxy number one, Roxy the best, Roxy number one, Roxy the best, Roxy number one. Yeah, yeah. Stay awesome. Roxy and Rockstars who show up to give all their support whenever, however they can. Thank you for being a friendly support pillar of strength for the people around you. Everyone who's battling, keep fighting. You're a winner. Every win for you is a win for all. Hope you continue breathing in golden sparkles, bring in love, and blow out stress and yucky energy with each inhale and exhale to break apart and remove all types of energetic blockages to retain balance. Be brave, be awesome, because you are. Oh, be you because you are. Sorry, I forgot that one. Thank you, Roxy and Rockstar, for everything. You're amazing people. You the fucking best. You the fucking best. You the fucking best. The best we ever had. Keep being dope as fuck. Always and in all ways. Roxy and Rockstar's band. Rule, be a star, and shine brightly. Being unselfishly loving and supportive of others, including strangers, whether it's on the internet or not, as well as being kind, caring, and fully unique, makes you humane, worthy, and a cozy fire to be near. Your first class. Whoa. A priceless treasure and inspiration. May you each get to laugh out loud like a child at least once a day, today and every day, for the rest of your life, so you glow in your flow. Be you always, and in all ways, there's no one better at being you than you. Thank you, my dear. Jimmy Nails in the house, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Sex in the City. Interesting. Jimmy Nails, you did something that I did my whole life. I wonder if you know what it is. Let me read it again and see if you know. You said, Sex in the City is nothing without Kim Cattrall. I called it that forever too. It's Sex and the City. I always say Sex in the City though. Sex in the City is nothing without Kim Cattrall. Fight me. I will not fight you. I love her. She was my favorite character. I love the original for the record, but why are we doing this if we couldn't even get the leads back? After looking at the thumbnail, I do have to admit Sarah Jessica Parker looks good. Hashtag Team Aiden. I think this is the best Sarah Jessica Parker's ever looked. Holy shit, is she beautiful. It is wild to watch. She has aged so gracefully. Not that she's old, but just it's been 20 years since the show. She is so beautiful. So beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Team Aiden. I see. Jimmy Nails also says, I like to think I'm a Samantha, but I'm probably more of a Miranda if I'm being honest with myself. I might be that same combo, Jimmy. What do you guys think? Paul 3JP says, more of a Charlotte/Samantha hybrid myself. Charlotte was hands down the baddest bitch on the show. You think Charlotte was the baddest bitch on the show? What show were you watching? By a mile. What? In case anyone wanted to know where I stood on that debate. Oh, do you just mean she was the hottest? Because there's no way Charlotte's the baddest bitch on the show. Like personality-wise. Come on. I'm not saying she's not great. They're all great and different, but like, what are you talking about? Just what are you talking about? Again, it's doing the internet thing. Let me know if I'm good because I can always connect to the Ethernet. Let's go into the super chat. Ryan Shield says, Roxy, girl, I'm so excited for this. I'm the only dude here excited. No, I don't think so. Seen every episode, and we do not speak of Sex and the City 2. Laugh my ass off. Why do I like it so much? I don't know. I think y'all were being really critical on that one. I enjoyed Sex and the City too. I just simply did. So I'm going to give my general thoughts on Sex and the City. Then I'm going to go into spoilers. And for those of you guys who don't want spoilers yet, you can come back and watch this another time. In the meantime, send in Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Super chat in. Let me know who you are. Who am I? Am I Samantha? Am I Charlotte? Am I Carrie? Am I Miranda? We don't know. You guys let me know. And who are you? All right. So in general, like I said before, this really worked for me. There is a big bomb that's dropped at the end of the first episode that I need to see the rest of the show to see how I feel about. But there was a lot of hints throughout the episode that I should have been picking up on. I just really didn't want to see it, so I wasn't seeing it. So keep your eyes open throughout the episode, because then you'll probably be a little more prepared for the final moments. It was cool to see the women back together. While Samantha is not there, and that sucks, there is a lot of chemistry between the rest of the ladies, and it's really nice to have them there. It's also nice to not just have white people on the show. We obviously, the show has always had queer people on it, but to not just have white people on the show, and there have been some non-white people, of course, but to have a lot of people that are people of color, especially Black people on the show, was a nice change of fucking pace for this show. A show that I love so much, such as Friends. You know, I love these shows so much, but when you are a show that is dated, oftentimes you are fucking white. And so with Sarah Jessica Parker, Cynthia Nixon, and Kristen Davis at the helm of this show, that is three white women, and I was excited to see more people come in. There is someone named Sarah Ramirez who's on the show this season, and I know her because she played Callie Torres on Grey's Anatomy for 15 years. So I love seeing her. And I'm checking right now to make sure. Yeah, I think Sarah's pronouns are still she, her, but on the show, Sarah plays Shay Diaz, who is actually, we don't fully know yet, but they are I'm going to say they, them, because I don't know what their pronouns are, but they are a podcast host, and they host a sex and relationships podcast. And that was a really cool choice. And I can talk more about that in spoilers, but I like that. Mr. Big, as you guys know, is back in this season, which was great. There's an actress named Karen Pittman who's involved in the show. She plays a professor on the show, and I know her from a lot of different things, Luke Cage and the movie Detroit, but the most recent one being the morning show, and she is amazing in the morning show. So it was really great to see her on this as well. Lily grew up to be quite the young lady. Lily, the daughter of Charlotte, the played by Kathy Ang, who was awesome. So just a little bit more diversity, not just in people, in races, but also in sexualities, and that was nice to see. So I'm not surprised with that. I think there's no way that HBO Max is going to put out a show with 3 white leads and just have the whole fucking cast be cis and white at this point, but they did a cool job with that. So I was pleased in that department, and it was funny. It was also funny. I thought that it hit, it landed. It seemed like no time had gone by. These women clearly have an extreme connection, and it was just a bummer that Samantha was not there. So I am going to get into spoilers. Before I do that, I'll take any last minute Streamlabs. Then we'll get into spoilers, and then we'll GTFO, get the fuck out for the day. In the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Apollo 3JP says Charlotte was brunette, kind of was the brunette kind of prudish one, right? Yeah. I'm just talking looks, girl. Looks. Oh, okay. If I'm thinking of the right character, Charlotte was hands down the baddest in the show. I mean, Charlotte was gorgeous, is gorgeous. They're all gorgeous. They're all gorgeous. I don't know who I think is the best looking of the 4 main girls. I'm including Samantha in that. They all have completely different styles, and kind of depends on what your thing is. I think maybe Charlotte's most Western, like traditional Western beauty, if that makes sense. All right, now I'm going to talk. Oh, Brandy says Sarah goes by they, them. It says on the Twitter account. Oh, on Sarah's IMDb, it says that their pronouns are she, her. So that's what I was going off of. But thank you for correcting me then. And that's great. That's great. Thank you for letting me know, Brandy. I appreciate you correcting me on that. And probably their IMDb should be updated. Yeah. Note to agent, update IMDb. Alexander Wilson says, as a guy, what from Sex and the City appealed to you? My lady watches it, but I can't get into it. Good question. Fair question. I think that it was one of the first shows that I ever watched that talked about sexuality with women. And that was really cool because there was so many episodes of Entourage and shows like that, Sopranos, right, where it was a bunch of men and they're all fucking around and cheating, talking about sex, and it was just they'd be very graphic with their verbiage. And there wasn't that for women. And it was one of the first to really dive into what it is to be a sexually active woman in America. And I liked that a lot. I also liked their friendships. I thought that they were realistic. They really are there for each other, and typically not in a catty way, sometimes in a selfish way, but not in a catty way. And I thought that was a cool way of showing that. And yeah, I'm not saying that Sopranos is about male empowerment in any way. I'm just saying that there are conversations that go on just casually on a lot of male-based shows that are about sex and experimenting. And Samantha was one of the first people I ever saw on TV that had sex with whoever she wanted, and her friends supported her in that endeavor and she didn't want to end up with a monogamous partner. And that was something that we didn't see ever. So that was really cool. So it was definitely one of the first of its kind. And then I also thought it was hysterical. I also think a lot of these women had extreme career aspirations, which we didn't see often either. And I could relate to that. I could relate to wanting to be in love and wanting to find your person, but also wanting to live out your dream and having that dream maybe be a little more creative or a little more time consuming than others might like. I related to struggling in the men department. I still relate to that. And so I think that those are some of the reasons. I think for men, it does give a window into the soul of a lot of different types of women, especially this newer version. And yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Going back, but the first season is a little tough because of the direct to camera stuff. Although I like it a lot, but looking back, it was a little tough. Glenn Caesar in the Streamlabs says, I hope you remember to say to yourself, I'm kind, I'm caring, I'm fully unique, I'm worthy, my story is important, deserves to be seen and heard. May you fill your never-ending goblet of happiness and joy and get a drink from it whenever, wherever you can. May you breathe in more golden sparkles of love as you inhale and blow out the stress and yucky energy whenever, wherever you need to in each of your days, your weeks, months, even your years. Remember, we're all gonna, nope, that was Dee's comment. I was gonna say we're all gonna die, so don't be a dick. Remember, we're all still alive. Be you a sparkling diamond. I hope you live in serenity and actually get to see and feel or perceive the yellow and green colored energies and sparkles of happiness and joy manifesting in your day-to-day life today, tomorrow, the next day, and beyond, so that you glow and radiate for all to see. Thank you for that, Glenn. I feel like Carrie would like that. I feel like she would agree. I think so. Okay, let's talk. We're getting into spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we come back from Sex and the City. We come back in this show with no Samantha, and immediately it's addressed. Somebody asks, where's Samantha? And they say, oh, she's not with us anymore. And it's kind of a swerve because you think that they killed off Samantha, which would be the dumbest decision fucking ever. And instead, Charlotte's like, oh, what I meant was and Carrie says she's in London. So we find out she's in London really quick. And that was what I thought was going to be the entire addressing of the situation, which wasn't going to be enough for me because just what the fuck do you mean she's in London? So luckily we address it again multiple times in the the rest of the episode. What we find out is that she moved to London after her and Carrie had a big fight. Carrie fired her as her publisher, and as Carrie describes it, Samantha fired her as a friend. Now, this is really interesting to watch because if you know any of the behind the scenes stuff with the girls from Sex and the City, you know that Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall can't fucking stand each other. Now, Sarah Jessica Parker character in this is talking about, I've reached out multiple times. I've sent multiple texts. She didn't respond. She will not have a conversation with me, which we know is what's going on in real life. And I'm not saying that Kim Cattrall is not justified in not responding to her, but we know that Sarah Jessica Parker has reached out and Kim Cattrall has said she doesn't want a friendship. She doesn't want to come back and she will not respond or see her. So there was a lot of truth to this, and it was wild to watch them play it in. Now, it was a bummer to not be able to hear Kim Cattrall's side of the story in this, but she did turn down being in the show. So how are they going to tell her side of the story? Also shitty that Carrie fired her as a publicist after all these years, but you know, that is what it is. So I was interested with how they did this. And also it apparently, since moving to London, Charlotte has not spoken to Samantha and Miranda has not spoken to Samantha. I wonder if it's going to come up throughout the rest of the season or if they're going to leave it at that. But they did leave the door open for a friendship to be developed again. And if they die or I die before there is an all four of them reunion, that will be such a fucking missed opportunity bummer. It would just be such a bummer. But yeah, third tour, there was definitely some real life stuff going on behind the scenes. I don't know if it was cattiness because there were some really big situations going on. A lot of this was not just about pay, but then there were some familial situations happening, and there was just a lot taking place behind the scenes, and they kind of built that a little bit into the storyline. So I'm glad they didn't kill her off. I'm sad that she's not on the show, but they also addressed it as quick as they could, which was important because otherwise, we, as audience members, we wouldn't have been thinking about anything else except for the whole episode. Where the fuck is Samantha? Where the fuck is Samantha? So good on them that they addressed it off the top. We also have a bunch of new characters that we're seeing. I just talked about Shay Diaz a little bit, who is a character who has a podcast, and this podcast is about sex, love, relationships. And there's this incredibly awkward moment where during the podcast, they are talking about masturbation. And it's also with, I forget what his name, I think it's Bobby Lee or something, this hysterical Asian comedian that I actually saw at the Comedy Store the other day, who is so fucking funny. But is that his name? Let me look. He is in the episode, and he is let's see, is this him? Yep, it's Bobby Lee. He is in this episode, and he is also on the podcast with them. And he is a cis male talking about masturbating in public and all these things. And then at the same time, the new character, Shay, or Che, but I think Shay, I think that's right, is talking about masturbating, and their form of masturbating is being at the Yankees game and watching all the men not be able to identify who Shay is. And so Shay turns over to Carrie and says, how is masturbating for you? Where you masturbate? And Carrie just gets so fucking awkward. And why this was so brilliant to put in is because Carrie was extremely progressive when Sex and the City came out. Carrie's blog, Carrie's whole deal, Carrie's whole shtick was talking about relationships and love. And that was very progressive at the time. Carrie sleeping with people out of wedlock. And in the 90s, that was progressive for that to be who she was on TV. But in 2021, that's not fucking progressive. So it's interesting to now watch Carrie, who was once considered progressive in that field, not be progressive anymore and be there and not. And she says something like, I'd like to buy a vowel, as in like she doesn't want to answer the question about fucking masturbation. And later on, Shay's character goes to Carrie in the elevator and is like, you got to step your vagina up, my dude. Like, you're going to get fired if you don't step up. You're awkwardly giggling. You're not talking about sex in the way that we talk about sex nowadays. In 2021, women are allowed to talk about sex. And if you don't want to do that, then this is not the right field or space for you. And that was wild to see. Now Carrie's fallen behind. Same thing is going on with Cynthia Nixon's character, with Miranda. She's really fallen behind the times too. as somebody who was very progressive coming up, now she's no longer considered progressive. She has a teacher, a professor who's played by Karen Pittman, again from the morning show, who I absolutely love. And this professor is a Black woman who has braids. And immediately when she walks in the classroom, Miranda says, "Oh, you can't sit there. The professor's sitting there." And the professor's like, "I am the professor." Karen Pittman's like, "I am the professor." And Cynthia Nixon's like, "But you have braids." And the cringe that I had in that moment, which was like, what? And then she tries to backtrack and she's fucking backtracking. And she's like, no, not that you can't have braids. Just like in your picture, you didn't. And just anybody who is paying attention in 2021 knows that hair doesn't define anybody, but especially hair doesn't define a Black woman. And a lot of Black women change their hair all the time, as they can and should. And it's not something even that needs to be acknowledged. But if you're going to acknowledge somebody's hair, certainly fucking don't do it in that way. It was just so uncomfortable. And then she just kept putting her foot in her mouth and talking about how she wants to be an ally and how it was just so uncomfortable. So now we've got these women who are no longer in their 30s coming up in the city, and they are trying to learn. And luckily, Karen Pittman's character is really fucking nice and is willing to not be where she could be frustrated or rude back because it's annoying what Miranda's doing. Instead, she's trying to help educate and trying to make light of and trying to make Miranda feel comfortable. And it's not her job to make Miranda feel comfortable, but it was really, they did a great job there. Ironically, Charlotte, who is the least progressive, probably in this was the one who got in trouble the least. But Charlotte, I think, does have her own issues going on. She is still with Evan Handler, who, remember, is one of my least favorite celebrities I ever met. We had a not great interaction. Could have been a bad day, although it did happen twice. But whatever, they're still together, and they have kids, Lily and Rose Goldenblatt, and there's a piano concert going on. So now you guys are kind of caught up with her, but it seems like she's having more trouble raising one of her kids than the other because her younger kid, Rose, doesn't want to wear a dress, and Charlotte's so prim and proper, and that's just not what kids are like these days. Like, they want to express themselves and they want to have the ability to not wear a dress if they don't want to wear a dress, and that's just not, Charlotte's not down with that. So everybody is kind of still struggling with what their place is and what it means to be in 2021 and be liberal, be progressive, be on the up and up. I wanted to say on the right side of history, but recently I've heard that that's not a phrase that we are supposed to use anymore. Who the fuck knows? So I can't keep up with all of that stuff. So that's where everybody is. Then the big bomb is dropped, which I'll get to in a moment. First, I'm going to go into Streamlabs and Super Chats. Let's see what's going on here. Alexander Wilson says, as a part of the African American community, braids looked down in academia. I know people who had to cut them to get a position in education. That has been in a lot of positions, as you know, I'm sure. It's not just in academia, it's all over the place. And that's fucking disgusting. There's no other way to phrase that. I even think it's fucking disgusting when people's hair color affects the job that they get. Like, if you have pink hair, all of a sudden you can't do a job. But obviously, this isn't just about hair color. This is about an entire community being persecuted because of the ways that they wear their hair. It's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, that's disgusting. And I think that they're touching on something in this show that deserves to be touched upon and makes sense. It was just really fucking cringeworthy to watch. Really fucking cringeworthy to watch. Let's go into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. What up, Jake Yacovetto, with that huge ass fucking support? Yes, friend. He said, where are we all going tonight? Barney's, Yard House, Wood Ranch. Wait, fuck. I'm not in Los Angeles anymore. That still hasn't hit me yet. Oh. Is that where you went when you were here? I love Barney's. I love Yard House. I love Wood Ranch. That sounds like you stayed right in that Burbank area, though. But yes, Jake, thank you for that. I am attempting to go on a mini vacation with my sister, as we do every December. So thank you guys for allowing me to hopefully take like 3 days off with all your support right now. You guys know I don't do that. So hopefully I can get there. Glenn Caesar says, so Roxy, does that mean that I'm a Carrie? Not sure what that means, as I haven't seen much of Sex in the City, LOL. But if you say that Carrie would like some of my Streamlabs, then I'll take your word for it. Who knows? Perhaps I check out Sex in the City and AGLT. Oh, and Just Like That. Oh my God, I haven't seen that abbreviation yet on HBO Max. It's a really good show. I wonder if you are Carrie. Maybe a little bit of a Miranda too. Everybody's kind of a combination. It's like with the Friends people. Usually we're not all just one of the things. Let me know what you guys think though. What do you think Glenn is? Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Get in your support. Let's talk about the big drop that happens at the end of the episode. The massive reveal is that Big, the entire episode, has been riding his Peloton. He doesn't come to this concert. He's supposed to go to with Carrie, his longtime partner. They've been together on and off through the entire show, and then in the movies, and then now they're still together. So they're supposed to go to the cabin that weekend, but instead Charlotte convinces Carrie to stay to watch Lily in her recital. So she does stay. Big stays home. He gets on the Peloton. He has a heart attack. He's in the shower having a heart attack. Carrie comes home. She finds him. She leaps onto his body. She does not call 911. Carrie's a little slow sometimes. Come on, Carrie, get with the times. Like, call 911. You see your man there. He can't move. He's still alive, but his eyes are open. And you can tell you don't know if he's going to make it or not. And then the episode ends with, and just like that, Mr. Big died. And then the premiere of the show ends. So Big, who we've lived with this entire time, is now dead. It was Carrie and Big were the Ross and Rachel of the show. On again, off again, on again, off again. A lot of people don't like Big. I happen to love Big, and what that says about me as a person and what I'm looking for, I don't fucking even want to dive into that right now. But a lot of people don't love Big. He has a very separate life from a lot of her girlfriends in the way that in the recital, the other girls brought their husbands. Big doesn't come to these kind of things. They're very different. They have had their struggles, but I really, really love Big. Even though most people don't. I loved Aiden too, though. Holy shit, I loved Aiden. But I really do love Big. And I thought that they had an interesting relationship. And I would have liked to see what that looked like on this new series. But we're not going to see that because they killed him. He died. I was shocked, even though everybody else was like, I saw it coming as soon as they kept mentioning the Peloton. So, whoa. I mean, I think what's interesting about this is that it does happen where somebody loses their spouse very young, as my dad did with my mom. And it does happen out of the blue sometimes when somebody's not sick. And then that person having to start over and reinvent themselves. It's kind of the premise of the show, Sex in the City. It's kind of about navigating relationships and navigating being single and navigating challenges that you didn't see coming. And this is certainly that. So now I wonder, with that being what the premise of this series is going to be, are more people intrigued or more people don't want to watch? I watched a lot of people's initial reactions and people seem devastated, which I get. Even people who don't love Big were kind of devastated because this is a huge death, especially for Sex and the City, where it's not a drama. So we were not expecting it. So I'm curious. And I started watching the next episode. And in the next episode, we start with all the funeral arrangement planning. And boy, do I remember that so well. I remember when my mom was still alive, going and picking out her coffin and picking out where to bury her and the cemetery and what it was going to say on her gravestone and the eulogy, giving the eulogy and figuring out what was going to be in her obituary and which picture to use. All those things that like you don't think about until you had to bury somebody you love and be that person. And it's going to be an interesting show to watch Carrie now navigate life without her person and with all of her friends still having their people. And I'm interested I'm interested to see how that works. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer super chat in. Alexander Wilson says, my lady just came in and said she's not watching without Samantha. A lot of people are saying that, as Samantha is a lot of people's favorite character, as she is one that many of us relate to because she feels like the most real. She feels like the most real and grounded and good friend. But I think that this show was really good. The premiere was very good. Most reviews are right now saying that it's much better than the movies and that it's a B. I think that that is solid. There's room for it to go up from here. A lot of the critics have seen the first 4, and that's what they're saying. For me, this was a really, really solid premiere. Jaw-dropping, upsetting, funny, poignant, and I'm curious. I'm curious what it's going to be like. Also, always just any shows like this where somebody loses their partner so young, as we were talking last night about detachment and attachment, it's just so hard to put all your eggs in one basket, as you never know what the fuck's going to happen to that basket. And, I feel for people like my dad who spent their whole life with somebody and then one day they're just dead. And then you still have years and years of your life left. Or for people who go through horrible breakups or whatever it is, just you never know when you're gonna fucking drop dead. So this show really is going there, and we'll see how that goes. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Any last minute questions, comments, concerns? I am gonna get out of here. Ryan Shields says, man, I did not see that coming. Me neither. Ryan Payne says, funerals are rough, having been on the side of burying someone you love. It's really hard. My friend Ronnie in the house, he says, I think it would have been healthy to age Carrie up, as in with the healthy and happy relationship, as opposed to her single life in the city. Yes, but we are seeing happy and healthy relationships in other places. This is just a different avenue, because we are seeing Miranda still with Steve, and we are seeing Charlotte still with Evan Handler, and we are seeing those versions of relationships that have lasted. So yeah. The other thing that I didn't reference yet was the fact that it was so bizarre when he came on screen, because I was just not prepared for it. But there was a major death on the show when Willie Garson died this year, and I forgot that he had filmed the show, and so he's in it. He's in the premiere, and wow, it's just weird to see him. He died a couple of months ago, and I'm curious what happens with his character as well. In the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, Ash says, I haven't watched Sex and the City. I was interested to check it out last night, but I ended up watching the whole season of Sex Lives and College Girls. How was that? I heard it was not good. Sex Lives with College Girls, I heard was very not good. But let me know. All right, my friends, I'm getting out of here. So much love to all of you guys. Thank you for letting me talk about the new Sex and the City show. And then there was, and Just Like That. I keep forgetting the title of it. I just keep forgetting, and Just Like That. That's not sticking with me for some reason. I hope it sticks with other people. And I hope the rest of this is good. I'll be back tomorrow live at the Rocks. No, I don't think I will be here tomorrow. I'm going to celebrate Winston's birthday. So I am going to be on Only Stupid Answers in the morning. And then I don't think I'm going to do the show for like a couple of days. I'll see what I can do, though, maybe from the road or something. I'll keep you guys posted, as always. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here. I think another Streamlabs rolling through. Y'all just keep me here. You can keep me here as long as you want. In the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Oh, my God. Jake Yakavetta. That huge support. Fuck, I'm almost on Christian Hardesty levels right now, but at least I don't have ridiculous typos. Jake, thank you. That will be you're awesome. Thank you guys, everybody, for being helpful. Yeah, Winston's birthday is tomorrow. So I don't know exactly what my schedule is going to look like, but we're going somewhere. So, and you guys know Winston's become one of my closest friends, and we're working on something together too. So yeah, Yeah. All right. So much love to you guys. Stay safe, stay sane. Put down the toilet seat and the lid. You don't want those perflumes. Special shout out to the people who showed support today. Huge shout out to Jake Yacovetta. Oh my God. To Ash, to Glenn Caesar, to Apollo 3JP, to Jimmy Nails. Thank you guys for being in the Streamlabs, to Alexander Wilson in the super chat. Y'all are the reason I'm able to continue doing this show. So thank you for being here. To Ryan Shields, thank you for supporting me in that way. Don't Tremble the Holocaust. Brett Miles Jonathan, Arrest the Cops Who Killed Breonna Taylor. So much love to you guys at home, and I'll see you. I'll update you soon on what my schedule will be, but I'll see you within the next few days. I know that's not helpful. I'll see you on Only Stupid Answers tomorrow if you watch that. Oh, one more Streamlabs rolling through. Let's see what's happening. Christian Harsey in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar says, autocorrect only does so much, Jake. Christian, I have awful spelling too. I have like JTE level spelling. You can ask the World Girls. It's really bad. I cannot help it. I can't help it, but I can't help it. All right. Bye, friends. Later.